Sanders and Congressman Khanna. My name is Angela Wynn, and I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I study computer science, and I lead Stanford's only technology ethics student org for undergraduates. Thank you. Thanks. I believe that many of us are concerned about a bigger issue of mission creep in the coming years with data center investments. On the topic of defense, we know tech has become a tool of dehumanization, enabling police, ICE, and military to escalate their control and repression of civilians here and beyond. Only possible with the approval of DoD budget increases and big tech or defense contracts that are supposedly made in the name of national security, safety, and global competition. Military cloud infrastructure, AI systems, and surveillance platforms used against civilians, and surveillance systems like Flock Safety and Amazon Ring are increasingly concerning Americans. Additionally, people's TSA privileges and visas being revoked due to both ICE agents with facial recognition apps at protests and DHS requesting user data from Google and Meta for social media post monitoring is showing a bigger issue. So my question is, what will you both do to prevent the unnecessary increase of DoD funding and big tech contracts, along with be proactive to ensure that these billions of dollars in investments for data centers are not later used to largely store civilian data and surveillance footage?
Okay. You raise a couple of very important issues. One Roe touched on. It is not widely known, but we are spending now, what is it, about $1 trillion a year on defense? $1 trillion a year. And by the way, there are some geniuses now want to increase that by 50%, right? Okay, another $500 billion, okay? While 800,000 people sleep out on the street and close to 100 million people have no health care. So the first thing we need to do is take a hard look at the defense budget. And by the way, the Defense Department is the only major government agency that has never successfully undergone an independent audit. So nobody denies massive waste and fraud. They don't even know what they own, all right? It's a huge, sprawling bureaucracy. So we can maintain a strong defense and significantly cut military spending. Second of all, the issue you raise is on a lot of people's minds. And it's not just through the DoD. I think people are now perceiving and fearing that every phone call that they make, every email that they send, every text that they send, somebody is going to get a hold of that. So we need to stand up as a nation and say that privacy is, in fact, a human right. And we don't need Palantir and other large corporations knowing every damn thing about us and every phone call that we made. And certainly you're right about this facial recognition where, people who are protesting are now, getting photographed in ways that will impact their lives. So privacy, huge issue. We can cut military spending significantly, invest in the needs of the American people.
You're absolutely right about the defense budget. I mean, it's 56% of the entire discretionary budget of the federal government. From the time I've been in Congress, it's gone up from $600 billion to almost $1 trillion, and Trump wants to take it to $1.5 trillion. Now, I've been on the Armed Services Committee, and I'm often the lone vote against the budget. In fact, if you watch one of these clips, they all chant, Khanna, Khanna, Khanna. And then when I don't vote yes and I vote no, you get boo from the entire Armed Services panel. But we need a new generation because they're wrapped in still the Cold War philosophy that, by the way, isn't paying our troops who should be paid. It's going to defense contractors who are making exorbitant profits in these defense executives. The second point in your question, which is so important, is we need our tech companies to show some backbone in not complying with administrative subpoenas from Department of Homeland Security. They're under no obligation to comply with an administrative subpoena, which is not a judicial subpoena, and they're getting administrative subpoenas to basically monitor social media accounts that are criticizing ICE. For all the people in Silicon Valley who are lecturing about the First Amendment, this would be a good time to stand up for the First Amendment. Stop complying with those administrative subpoenas.